Right, Hans, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. So as a store uh, in 2020, you have to do more than just put product on shelf and offer a low cost because you can buy that online. You know, probably find it cheaper some places. Usually not Apple, but so more and more going physically to a store, you're going for an experience, or at least that's kind of my perspective as a designer is that uh, otherwise, if the physical store doesn't present a added depth or another dimension to the experience, right? Then why are you going there just to waste time and energy? So for that purpose, I feel like in a classic Apple fashion, they did something quite iconic and quite beautiful. Like it cannot be beautiful. It's symmetrical, very um, bold, like single column. You know, a lot of if you watch Sackmeister and Walsh's video on beauty or their manifesto on beauty, this pretty much you know um, uses all of those principles of openness, material, symmetry, meaning, and to create something that's really simple, but I know would be very well executed and refined. Like if I saw that, I'd probably walk in, even if it wasn't an Apple store, even if that logo wasn't there, because of the sheer presence and uniqueness of it. Um, yeah,
Right.
that's what I'll say for now. I'll think about the negative comments while Chris talks about his lens.
Right. So my take on this is that it's an incredibly impressive structure from an engineering point of view. So as you mentioned previously in the section, Brian, that entire floor and roof is being cantilevered from that central column, which I know that uh, like New Zealanders, like structural engineers in New Zealand would be freaking out because, just imagine sort of the earthquake bracing or something like this sort of structure is just probably not possible in New Zealand. It'd be very, very hard to achieve because none of the load is being taken on the glass, right? It's the whole premise of this kind of cantilevered structure, which means that that central core or trunk is very, very rigid and is carrying the entire load. So for me, it's super impressive, uh, and it's also a very eloquent solution for the services. Obviously there's air conditioning in there. There's conduits running in there, and then there's also all the power outlets. So if you look at any of the images, you'll see that there's no cords anywhere. You know, there's no like leads going from the floor to the table to power the table. Like, so the power is actually being funneled through the legs of the table. So, so they've really thought about where each of the outlets are going to be, and exactly what the table dimensions are going to be. So, I mean, you do this anyway, but obviously this is done to the next level, uh, that level of detail, and you can see the small perforations in the top there to let the air out. So for some ventilation, and there might be speakers actually. That's probably quite small for ventilation, but yeah. So you can just see that there's just a level of craft and detail that has gone into this, and thinking that's gone into designing this building, and it's to me very impressive from that side of it. Um, Also, because the eaves extend out, they're mitigating sort of heat gain into the building. So, and you can also tell by the context that it's surrounded by quite tall buildings. So again, it's going to be relatively cool in there. In Thailand, it gets pretty hot, right? But the thing that gets me the most, and this is a thing that is really, really interesting. So if you scroll right to the top, Brian, so the main image, it's referencing a tree trunk, right? And what is the most prominent religion in Thailand? For 5 points, Brian, what is the most prominent religion in Thailand?
Buddhism?
Yes. And where did Buddha gain enlightenment?
India? No, I have no idea.
Man, know your history.
Okay. Thailand?
So Gautam Buddha, he gained enlightenment by meditating under a banyan tree, a Bodhi tree, right? So I don't know if this is deliberate or what, that they create a structure that is the shape of a tree in a country that is primarily of Buddhist religion and put a giant Apple logo on it. I can't help but make that connection. And
Doing it now.
I'm like, is that like the new temple? What are they trying to say here? Like, is this like Apple is like the new religion? Like, what I don't know. Like, am I double clicking on this too much? Or because it's a very clear reference to a tree, right? And yeah, I don't know. Like, it makes me wonder. I can't help but wonder. And like we've always speculated that Hans, we've had this conversation many a times where we talked about the fact that if extraterrestrial beings just sort of looked at Earth objectively and sort of looked at how people sort of are gathering in spaces and buildings, and these new Apple buildings are sort of like the new temples or the new sort of religion that sort of people that they're drawn to them, and then they go in there and they worship these devices. I don't know. To me, in this particular instance, it could not be sort of more clearer, where there is this quite strong religious reference in there, but it is done at such a sublime sort of level. You're going to have to dig quite a few layers to get there. Maybe you don't. I don't know. To me, that's the first thing that I saw, and I was like, "Hang on, where is this? This is in Thailand. Oh wow, or am I double clicking on this too much? I don't know. So that's my
The
thoughts.
only thing that I have a problem with is with that render that you're seeing right now, because that's a very unreal. Is that that's a render, right? Yeah.
No, that's a real photo.
Really, those people don't look real.
No, they're real, man.
Those people in that are real. Like you're saying, that's real people.
Yeah, there's a guy with a face mask. Both of them are wearing corona face masks.
Whoa, that's detailed. Well, I still feel like it's a very like unbelievable representation of this building, because you would always find way more people inside the building than on the outside.
It's corona times, man.
There should be that. No, it should be like Apocalypse Z. It should be like so many people on the inside that you shouldn't be able to see the architecture. It'd be very rare to experience the building in this way. I'll give you a photo to go with this post, Brian, where in Korea, mid Corona, everyone's just like every shop's empty, except the Apple store. It's like full. It's just you can't get in. Like full.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, anyways, yeah, I see that. I see the reference now, Krish. It's like it's pretty funny, and it, I think it is. If you go many layers down, you go into the, Jordan Peterson maps of meaning levels of down, then I think you'll find that there are many things that the layers aren't so clear. What is a religion? What stories do you believe in? Apple doesn't exist, and the company doesn't exist in nature. Apple could fire all of its employees, right? Still exists. It's not a human. It's not a country. It's just an idea. It's just a story. It still exists because it rules so many people's lives and so many people care about it. Just saying.
Yeah. I just thought it was really bold, because religion is such a sensitive topic. I mean, there was a chat. Generally, worldwide, it's a sensitive topic. But then I remember the story where a guy labeled a bar or something, like he called it Buddha bar or something like that, and it's something quite derogatory. And he got sent to jail. You know what I mean? But this again could be referencing that. Who knows? But and they in some ways get away with it. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Right.